At 0347 a.m., somewhere over the black water of the Persian Gulf, an American jet was flying alone. No wingman, no formation, no escort. Just one aircraft drifting dangerously close to Iranian airspace like it had somewhere better to be and simply hadn't decided yet. And on Iranian radar screens, the operator watching that single blip couldn't believe what he was seeing. This wasn't a provocation, this wasn't aggression, this was a gift. Iran had been watching the skies for weeks. Every satellite pass, every carrier group movement, every Pentagon press briefing, all of it pointed to the same inevitable conclusion. A surgical strike was coming. American precision-guided munitions had GPS coordinates locked onto hardened Iranian nuclear sites buried under meters of reinforced concrete, deep in mountains the Iranians had been tunneling into for years. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps had dispersed its command structure. Underground bunkers had been activated. Surface-to-air missile batteries had been repositioned overnight, triple-checked, and repositioned again. Iran knew. The entire world knew. And scared regimes don't go quiet. Scared regimes reach for the one thing that costs them nothing and buys them everything: optics. A single American aircraft, alone, unescorted, straying close to Iranian airspace. On Iranian state television, that isn't a pilot who drifted off course. That is an act of aggression. That is a provocation that demands a response. Intercept that aircraft, force it to turn back, and if the Americans want to play games, shoot it down. Put the wreckage on every screen in Tehran. Show the region, show the Arab world, show Beijing and Moscow that Iran is not trembling. The commander picks up the phone. He gives the order. The jet that lifts off the Iranian airstrip is an F-14 Tomcat. Let that sink in for a moment. Iran has been operating the F-14 since 1979, the same year the Sony Walkman was introduced to the world. For nearly 48 years, Iranian ground crews have kept these airframes flying through a combination of black market component smuggling, improvised engineering, and a level of mechanical optimism that would make any Western aerospace engineer physically ill. In its prime, in American hands off the deck of a carrier in the 1980s, the Tomcat was terrifying. Its AWG-9 radar could track 24 targets simultaneously. Its AIM-54 Phoenix missile could reach out and kill an enemy aircraft from 100 miles away before the pilot even knew he was being hunted. Top Gun wasn't propaganda. The Tomcat was genuinely one of the most capable air superiority platforms ever built. But that was then. Iran's F-14 fleet is not that aircraft anymore. It's a Frankenstein machine, magnificent bones held together by scar tissue, prayers, and improvised workarounds. The Americans cut off spare parts in 1979. Iran has been solving that problem creatively ever since. How creatively? The U.S. has prosecuted multiple arms smuggling cases specifically because Iranian agents were trying to acquire F-14 components illegally from American defense surplus channels. This is the jet Iran is sending to shoot down an American aircraft. The Iranian pilot doesn't think about any of that. He has a radar contact, alone, slow, and, impossibly, not maneuvering. The target isn't running, it's just sitting there, like it doesn't know he's coming. He arms his missiles. The targeting tone fills his helmet. Clean lock, fat radar return, steady and strong. His thumb moves toward the trigger. He is about to be the most famous pilot in the Islamic Republic. He squeezes. Nothing. Not a misfire, not a malfunction warning with a blinking light and a recommended procedure, nothing. The tone doesn't sputter, it simply ceases to exist. The radar return that was sitting clean and bright on his display 1 second ago is gone. Empty screen. He blinks. He checks his systems. He switches radar modes. He tries his backup acquisition systems. Error, error, error. His cockpit, 30 seconds ago the throne room of a man about to make history, is now a dark, broken metal box hurtling at 600 miles per hour over water he cannot see. He's not fighting anymore. He's just trying to fly a broken jet home without dying over water. But what the Iranian pilot didn't know was that he had never been alone up there. 12,000 feet above the engagement, an F-35C had been watching every second of this encounter with the quiet, patient attention of a surgeon observing a procedure he performed 100 times before he was 30. Its AN-APG-81 AESA radar, an active electronically scanned array so sensitive it can simultaneously map terrain, track aerial contacts, and conduct electronic intelligence collection while remaining effectively invisible to legacy radar systems, had cataloged the Iranian radar emissions, weapons lock, and system collapse in real time. The F-35C pilot gives it a moment. Then he descends. The Iranian pilot is flying west, systems dead, trying to compose himself, trying to construct an explanation that doesn't end his career. He can see the Iranian coast now. He's almost home. The worst part is over. Then he looks out his canopy, and his stomach drops through the floor of the cockpit. There is an American jet on his wing, not approaching, already there, steady, calm, matching his airspeed with mechanical precision, as if it had been flying formation with him for the last 20 minutes and simply hadn't introduced itself yet. The F-35C pilot looks across the narrow gap of sky between the two aircraft. The Iranian pilot looks back. No aggressive maneuver, no weapons base cycling open, no radio transmission issuing ultimatums. The American pilot simply raises two fingers to his visor, points at his own eyes, then points directly at the Iranian. I see you. That's it. That's the entire message. The Iranian pilot shakes his head. He has nothing. No radar, no missiles, no response. He flies. And just when he thinks the ordeal is finally mercifully over, the F-35C pilot decides he isn't quite finished. He waits, lets the Iranian get comfortable, lets him breathe, lets him think the worst is behind him. Then he rolls. Not away, not upward, around. A slow, deliberate 360-degree barrel roll around the F-14. Unhurried, effortless, geometrically perfect, like a man who has nothing to prove and proves everything in the process. The Iranian jet cannot maneuver in response. It cannot respond at all. It is just a man sitting inside an expensive metal box watching an American aircraft perform figure eights around him like he is something mildly interesting at an air show. Then the Iranian's radio crackles. He assumes it's ground control. It is not ground control. It is the USS Abraham Lincoln broadcasting on his frequency, his own military radio channel inside his own cockpit, and they are not transmitting a warning. They are playing music. Kenny Loggins, Danger Zone. The Iranian pilot cannot turn it off. He cannot turn anything off. He flies the last 40 miles to the Iranian coastline listening to the Top Gun soundtrack on full volume on a loop, involuntarily a prisoner inside his own aircraft, escorted home by a jet he never saw coming, defeated by a weapon he never knew existed in an engagement that never officially happened. But here is what the cameras and the press releases will never show you. This was not an accident. This was not a pilot who drifted off course. This was a deliberate, choreographed demonstration, a message delivered not in the language of diplomats or sanctions, but in the language the IRGC Air Force understands most acutely: operational humiliation. Every Iranian radar operator who watched that engagement on their screens tonight will go home and lie awake. Every commander who reviews that flight data will understand with absolute clarity that the Americans can reach inside your cockpit, turn off your world, put a jet on your wing before you know it exists, and choose not to kill you. The choice not to kill you is the most terrifying part, because it means the choice to kill you exists. It was made, and it was reversed. Oil markets will open Monday morning with that knowledge priced in. Beijing's PLA Air Force Intelligence Directorate has already flagged this engagement for analysis. Moscow's electronic warfare specialists are reading the same signals data. The entire world just watched one country tell another, without a single shot fired, without a single word spoken officially, exactly where the boundaries are. And somewhere in Tehran tonight, in a command room full of men who wanted a propaganda victory, someone is staring at a blank screen trying to figure out how to explain to the supreme leader why their F-14 came home playing American pop music. The answer is, there is no explanation. There is only what happened. And what happens next, that is the question nobody in that room is ready to answer.